Okay, you should also be able to add and subtract fractions using our rules on the negatives and positives. So let's take a look at some of these. Our first one, we have negative 5/6 plus 1/8. Well, we have to get a common denominator before you can add fractions or subtract fractions. So let's find the LCD of 6 and 8. Now we're going to do the prime factorization of each one. 6 is 2 times 3, and 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. Now we're going to take a look at each prime. Start with 2. And I'm looking for the greatest number of 2's on a single line. There's 1 here, and there's 3 here, so the greatest number of 2's on a single line is 2 of them. Or 3 of them, sorry. Now we're not counting how many 2's there are. We're looking for the greatest number of 2's on a single line. So 1 here, 3 here, so 3. Then I'll go to my next prime, 3. And we're looking for the greatest number of 3's on a single line. There's 1 here, none here, so the greatest number of 3's on a single line is 1. So 2, 4, 8, that gives us 24. So we're going to rewrite each fraction with that new denominator. Now you look at your old denominator and you ask, what did I multiply it by to get the new one? Here we had 6, we ended up with 24. So we multiplied the bottom part by 4. So we have to multiply the top part by 4. Now in our second fraction, we multiplied the denominator by 3. I'll learn to speak someday. So we need to multiply the top part by 3. So that gives us negative 20 over 24 plus 3 over 24. Now remember, when combining together numbers, we got the denominators are the same, so combine together negative 20 and 3. If the signs are different, you ignore the signs, then subtract the smaller from the larger. So 20 minus 3 gives us 17, and the sign of the answer is the sign of the larger one, which is 20, which was negative. So this would be negative 17. So our answer is negative 17 over 24. Let's look at the next one. This would be 5/12 minus 7/9. Well, again, if we're going to combine these together, we have to have a common denominator. So I want to find the LCD, 12 and 9. I'm going to do the prime factorization of each one. 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. And 9 is 3 times 3. Now we start with the first prime, the 2. We're looking for the greatest number of 2's on a single line. There's 2 of them here, there's none of them here. So greatest number of 2's on a single line is 2 of them. Well, then we go to the 3's. I'm looking for the greatest number of 3's on a single line. There's 1 here, there's 2 here, so the greatest number of 3's on a single line is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, so that gives us 36. So that would be our common denominator. Again, we have to look at the old denominator and ask, what did you multiply it by to get the new one? Here we had 12, we ended up with 36, we multiplied the bottom part by 3. So we have to multiply the top part by 3. Now here we multiplied the bottom part by 4, so we have to multiply the top part by 4. So that gives us 15 over 36 minus 28 over 36. And again, we have to combine the numbers up on top. We got a 15 minus 28. Positive and negative, different signs. We ignore the signs. Subtract the smaller from the larger. 28 minus 15 gives us 13. And the sign of the answer is the original sign of the larger number, which is 28, which is negative. So this becomes negative 13 over 36. Our next one, we got 5 minus 1/3. Well, if we're going to subtract fractions, it's helpful if they're both fractions. So I'll put the 5 over 1. Like that. And I could do our LCD here, but basically when one of them is a 1, your least common denominator is the other one. So 3 is our least common denominator. Again, you ask, what did you multiply by to get the new denominator? Second fraction, we didn't change at all. First one, we multiplied the bottom part by 3, so we have to multiply the top part by 3. So it gives us 15 over 3 minus 1 over 3. 15 minus 1 gives us 14. So our answer is 14 thirds. Now this is a mixed number, and you could have used that rule. The one thing you have to keep in mind is when you got negatives, the negative always goes up on top of the fraction. So this negative that's out in front of the 1/3 goes with the 1. So the mixed number rule, you take 5 times 3 gives you 15, and you add the negative 1, which gives you 14. And then denominator stays 3. So you can go directly from here to your answer in that problem. Let's look at another one of those. We got 1/4 minus 3. Well, again, if we're going to subtract fractions, it's handy if they're both fractions. So I'll put the 3 over 1. Since we only have the one denominator here, the 1 doesn't really count. That is our least common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite each fraction of that new denominator. First one, I already had it. Second one, we multiplied the bottom part by 4, so we have to multiply the top part by 4. So that gives us 1/4 minus 12 over 4. Denominators are the same, so you add together the top parts. I won't do it over inside here, but positive 1, negative 12 gives us negative 11. So negative 11/4 is our answer. Now again, this is a mixed number, so you could use that rule there. You take negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Add to 1 gives you a negative 11, and then denominator stays 4. And that's a last example of that problem type.